Morning Show is proudly brought to you by Botswana Post. Rise and shine.
And shine, waking up to the wonderful lights of the capital city, Gaborone. You have been given another day, and on that day you will reach highs of 27 degrees Celsius in Gaborone, 26 degrees Celsius in Francistown, excuse me, and 27 degrees Celsius in Maung. It will be a warm day, and it will be clear skies. Let us get ready and get fired up for a wonderful day. It is a wonderful Wednesday on the 15th of May. At 6:01 right here in Gaborone. Thank you so much for joining us on the DUMELA BOTSWANA Breakfast Show. We are reporting live from the Mass Media Complex. My name is Aleboa LB Moring. Thank you so much for waking up, and good morning. And good morning to you, Lala.
Rise and shine. It's breakfast time. How are you doing, Albi?
I am well. We didn't have a broadcast yesterday because something was special
big
was happening in our country.
Who was arriving?
Not Tarona. So how the beef
Yeah, on top of that, the whole world knows this for our beef. So that's
exactly.
So I'm glad it's here. I'd like to taste it.
I know, because apparently Wagyu is really good.
It's really good, and it's one expensive cut of meat.
Yeah.
You can find yourself paying 1,000 pula
for just
1 kg. So I can imagine how much is going to be put into just making sure that advances and that. But on the DUMELA BOTSWANA Breakfast Show, proudly sponsored by Botswana Post on this beautiful Wellness Wednesday, and we make sure that everything is well in your life. The right information to get you on the right foot as you start your day today.
Absolutely. Now we're talking family this morning in the first conversation 6:40 a.m. and I wonder, when you think about your family, what is a trait consistently? It could be physical, it could be emotional, it could be a character trait. If there's
one thing that is prevalent in our family, is the ability to express ourselves. So Rebantikana, kind of got like 5 siblings.
Right.
So 3 girls, 3 boys, my mom, my dad, children. So we've always cultivated this thing of
right.
You express yourself loud, so it becomes very loud, but it's also nice to know that everybody gets to say what they really want to say, and it's accepted within the family space.
And I love that, and some of these traits are very celebrated within the family. But today we're talking about the ones that you might not be so happy about. That is generational trauma. Maybe your great-great-grandparents, and then they come and trickle down. So we will be talking about to a trauma counselor at 6:40 a.m. How does trauma, the transmission of trauma traits happen within family members over time? So look forward to that one.
It's going to be a very heavy one, because I want to break the generational curse.
Exactly.
So I think trauma is a very big curse, and I can't wait for that conversation.
What do you have for us
and
this
on
morning?
our side, we have PrEP. I know we once had a conversation about it, and you want to have more conversations the last time we were together. So we're going to be talking about the barriers of the uptake. What exactly is the problem with the barriers that we have when it's time to actually go on and try these drugs such as PrEP, and HIV and AIDS, and just the killing that whole pandemic on
Gore
its own.
Motswana o dumela eng ka PrEP se e leng gore se ira gore a seka a eletsa go tsaya pilisi.
Today we're killing stigmas.
Yes, we're going to inform you and keep you ready. Now, also coming up, Karabo Bosena o tla ba re hatsa metshameko. But before all of that, it is Wellness Wednesday. And what a better way to be well than to exercise. Our brother Becky is standing by, ready to get your morning fired up. Let's get fit with Bipomas.
Over the past 30 years, we have been involved in many lives. We say thank you for trusting us to be your preferred medical aid provider. Most importantly, we want to thank the more than 82,000 principal members that have made us Botswana's #1 medical aid.
Welcome to Get Fit with BOTSWANA. My name is Becky. So today, guys, we're cardio, just cardio. Okay. So we're gonna run and run and run and run. Okay. Are you guys ready? 3, 2, let's go. Here. Small jog. Stay with me, guys. Stay with me. Boy, here. Let's go. Come on. Let's go. Watch me. I'm right here. I'm right here. I'm right here. Let's go. Now swing your arms. Swing your arms. Let's go. Come on. Keep going. Let's go. Take it up. Yes. Now, we're going up. Knee high, knee high, knee high. 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute, 1 minute. Let's go. Ah, that's good. Nice bending. Let's go. We're taking it up slowly. Yes. Ah, you just do your walk 5 minutes non-stop. That's what you do. 5 minutes non-stop. Then you go. Don't stop. Take it up. Let's go. 5 minutes. And that's it. You go. That's how we do it, guys. That's how we do it. Let's go. Now we're gonna kick. 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 Push. Yes. Let's go. Kick. 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 Come on. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Yes. Now take it up. Take it up. There. 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 Stay with me, guys. Stay with me. I know. I know. Yes. Yes. Let's go. Now kick butt. Kick. 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 Let's go. Now we go. Faster. 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 Let's go. Faster. 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 Come on. Come on. Right there. Let's go. Keep going. Push. 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 Now we go. Jumping there. Let's go. Take it up. Yes. 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 Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Jump in there. Jump in there. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Come on. Come on. Let's go. Let's go. Now. There. 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 Move your arms. Your arms. Hop. Stay with me. Stay with me. Stay with me. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Come on, guys. You're doing great. You're doing great. Don't stop. Don't stop. Let's go. Almost there. Almost there. Let's go. Come on. Yes. Say. 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 That's it for today, guys. Band fat. Now we're good to go. Okay. Just go to BOTSWANA's Facebook page. Then you can do more. You can repeat all those exercises like 3 times, 1 hour. You're good to go. Okay, let's burn those calories. Summer is here, guys, okay? And take care. Thank you.
Mothatso madume ke bira karabo miske bosena ka golela jalo gore mo laborarong ono tsa metshameko tse ile gore ta lebella jalo ba bowling ba ile gore ba le khotela Botswana Bowling Association ba ne ba tshwere jalo the National Championships ka go joining lebella jalo the Masters le tsa softball merta lebella jalo division kana first division south ba ile gore ba rule gantsa metshameko le mongwe hela motsokoro go tsa tsela go gore lebella jalo Botswana Premier League mo ile gore mo tsela mabane tota ne go sa restege mekolene e tswa updated new log standings dingwe di hiwa di points tse dingwe di sa hiwa di points. Some of the issues you're going to touch base on medebele metshameko le mongwe no tshameka motsile mabano DStv Premiership metshameko wa English Premier League ya ka stapa Manchester City ba le tse ba tshameka le Tottenham Hotspur mo tsela mabane ga mmago jalo le tshameka motsila gompie ko le ya Spanish La Liga. The Copa Italia final is this evening merta le bella gape NBA ka ha ile gore the playoffs di tsamaya ka teng a re tsebele ka go ba le khota la Botswana Bowling Association ba leng gore ne re bona pasa Gaborone Bowls Club in Botswana Bowling Association National Champions for the year 2024 ka itsalo gore se diragatse ja ka nne ba le ka go joining hone ka go hone go tshore jalo metshameko yone ya the National Championships under singles gona le di pairs as well as triples re bone pasa sa Gaborone Bowling ba khona go kokwanya jalo 79 points to emerge as the champions ka itsalo gore is a tournament element ne ga pile jalo over 80 athletes ba ne ba le gone ka go joining ba ile go tsenela one motshameko no ile wa bowling a ruto jalo gore maikutene la ntsinja mara ga diphenyo ga ga ba ile gore tauta mo go bone re tauta jalo mo the sport development officer ka go gotela Botswana National Sport Commission ke ba jela ka Rapis for Seleka.
The national tournament is where we play all the disciplines. We play the singles, the pairs, the fours, and the trips, both men and ladies. The club that accumulates most of the points, it wins a trophy called the Rose Trophy. It was a very well organized tournament. As you can see that we have lots of youth and they have won medals. Normally this is where we announce our national team players.
I wish to recognize that Botswana Bowling Association is an affiliate of the Botswana National Sport Commission. It's one of the very active national sport association. Also recognizing that they help us in our mandate, especially with the programs that we have at the BNSC.
Eletselo gore dine diragala jalo ele the national champions national championships tsa le khotala Botswana Bowling Association me ha re tsama go bona re lebella jalo ba Botswana Softball Masters Association le bone ba ne ka ko Francis Town ko gore gona ba tshwere jalo khaisano ya bone e re hebletse re wana stapa sa Diamond Masters nna bone ba fenyi o ka itselo gore ke tournament ning e na le dithopa di hera bobedi di tswa mono gae ga mmogo jalo le dithopa di le 4 ba tse di tswang jalo ka ko South Africa ya ka ke tlhalosa gore stapa sa Diamond Masters e heletse le gore they were crowned champions a ruto jalo ditiragalo tseo tsa ka ko ghetto
re tshamekile sente tota. We played 2 games on the first day, 2 games second day. And today we played 2 games again. Let's round robin finally, and we played very well. Our offense was good, was on top. We didn't struggle better. Our defense was also on top.
It was easy for us to win it because Our pitcher came to the party, he showed character, and we won. We won all the games starting from the first day up until the final. So it clearly showed that our preparation tactics were very good.
You're the epitome of what community building is all about. Doria and your colleagues. Just one more time, just one more time, please stand up with your committee and the whole committee, and let's give you a big round of applause.
Ele jalo tsa softball masters tene ndira gala jalo ka ko Francis Thane na re ka tsela mosupologo ra bone re le ha re na jalo le the former mass coach bile le mokatisi sta pasa jone Galaxy ke bejelo ka ga le tlho Ronaldo nkutisa yone ne ra thalo tsa gore sekologo yeo ya mosupologo ta ba emela a le ba jalo ka ko Saudi Arabia go leng gore tengo ya go tsanela jalo a high women coaching course okay tselo coaching course e simolotseng jalo mo tsatsing la maabane ya go wela jalo ka di 18 motho ke lana le sebaka tsa go bua le mo tsela maabane a bua jalo gore da class ya ntahela it was already hectic mo ya ka o bona jalo nna a emela le ba jalo go neka kwa Saudi Arabia re le go neka kwa go mo tsamaisa sente ruta jalo mo go ene ga mmogo jalo le women development officer ka go lekgotela Botswana Football Association ke ba jalo ka metsholofelo setlhoko.
It's an honor ke lebile gone gore tota hela ke dio dingwe tse re di emele gore re recognize ke one bone bo kefo yalo bone bo FIFA yalo because going that side also hela go tsweng go le nna ke tata ke jwala mo ke go anyileng ka kwa so that women's soccer ka kwa lone khone go gola
super career opportunities for our coaches go super kholo because ha re ka lebella ha le strategy se leng gore ke sa kefo le sa FIFA sa lena le sa rona se leng gore ke sa BFA so coach education plays a very important role because re le ka gore ro iketse palo ya di coach tse leng tsa bomme and it's ke sengwe se leng gore sa re thusa gone gore re ka oketsa di coach tsa bomme re na le Ronaldo ke ene
re ta tswa kwa ka dithuto tseo then re ta tsisa mo go ba ileng goreng ba tota ba batla go ithuta re ta re share le bone re ta re share le one women's desk re ta re share le one association so that se re sa muleng ka go so le bone ba se jwale mo go ba bangwe ba ile goreng ke bomme ba ile gore go ba ta go iphithela ba le ha ile ke lenteng.
Ele jalo Ronaldo mo eleng gore ba tsela gompe go batla ba tsena jalo mo day 2 yone ya the high women coaching course se tshwaretse jalo ka kwala hatsela Saudi Arabia a re bella jalo motshameko le mongwe o tshameke mo tshekwa tsela gompe go kana go ya boraro ka SSG go le gore ta bana stapa sa City Pola ba kopana jalo le stapa sa UB Hawks ke jalo re motshameko ga ba tshameka over the weekend ka nta gore stapa sa UB Hawks ba ne ba tsaya karolo mo metshamekong ya the Orange FA Cup. Tsana mo go tsa ligi e kgolwane ya Botswana Premier League pele ga re ka bua ka mekwalo eletseng e tswa ka hale ka ha mo tsatsing la maabane a re simolola ka go lebella jalo metshameko ene e tshamekwa go le go tshamekile metshameko e mebedi motshameko wa nta ene ele ka ko VTM go le gore stapa sa BDF 11 ba ne ba amogetse stapa sa 11 Angels stapa sa ka bopedi di tshameka maleka le fela 11 Angels this is the second draw mo away mo twarialo ka gakologela gore bana ba tshameka maleka 1-1 le stapa sa Joining Galaxy meraba bona ba letse ba tsile ka kwano ba tshameka maleka le fela le stapa sa BDF 11 two important points for them mo thakarialo motshameka mongwe no tshameka ene ele ka ko Lobatsa Sport Complex ke le gore stapa sa Security Systems bana ba le gone ka ko ba fanye jalo masitoka ka nnotse pedi go eleng wa ruta maikutlo ba katisi ba stapa sa 11 Angels ga mo go le BDF 11 maraga maleka ao okay ne ke re ba katisi ba teng anyway metshameko ya tshameka mo tsela gompieko le metshameko ya Botswana Premier League ya ka e tswella pele ga ga metshameko ya tshamekiwa o ka tsela re tabana ka VTM stapa sa Gaborone United ba kopana le stapa sa VTM motshameko mongwe o stapa sa Traffic ba ka ko Obed Itani Chilume Stadium gone ka ko ba mogela stapa sa Police 11 so Flamingos e ka ko Soa Council Stadium ba mogela stapa sa Rapa United Haniko United le ka ko Samson Stadium ba mogela stapa sa Morupule Wanderers motshameko mongwe o teng ke ka ko Jwaneng go le gore stapa sa Joining Galaxy ba mogela jalo stapa sa Matebele tshekologa tse kana Primane ya tsela gompieko motshameko mongwe hela o simollang ko ya bosupa ya mengwe metshameko e simolola ka nako ya boraro motshameko mongwe hela o simollang ka nako ya bosupa le gore ta bana ka thamalelo mo Botswana Television ke motshameko wa stapa sa Holy Ghost ya ka ba Amagala Township Rollers ka ko National Stadium a re ba la jalo mo mpatane ga mo go jalo le Louis Tshwane re uta maikutlo a bone moraga go tshameka maleka mo tsela maabane ka ko VTM Arena.
3-1 but 3-1 on re makanyeditse but ompotso gore a nne ba sa gopole gore ba ka gora 3-1 relaxed. No, re ba kantse we talked about this. Or it's gone. We're going to start on another clean slate. But the hell go bua nnete, the last line ya rona e sale hela re sokola ka yone. We were building so well. The game was ko kai ko kila ra take you 45 minutes was not attack. But rona we were just too wasteful within the area name matter. The opportunities rona they came. But DUMELA me go gore enough. The power was not there. The aggression was not there within the area.
It was a tough game, a game of 12, I must say. You know, we knew that first half they were going to put a lot of pressure on us because they've been winning games. So it was only natural for them to come at us. They are home again. But I thought second half we really turned the tables. We came to the party. It was very unfortunate. We had so many opportunities, especially on the break. I'm not mentioning the penalty because we missed a very crucial penalty in there. But what can you say? It's part of the game. This is, I think, the second penalty that we missed from a 0-0 situation. You know, we missed one at home against Tafik, 0-0. We are missing another one here. But I won't blame the boys. You know, away games are very difficult. You know, we are in a relegation zone predicament. What we can do now is celebrate each and every point, you know.
So, ina re motsatsi la maabane ra bona jalo ba ofisi ya Botswana Football League ba ntsha jalo mokwalo o neng o tlhalosa jalo ka the situation ze neng ikile ya nna teng ha go tshamiko ya week 13 and week 14 ya Botswana Premier League o ka gakologela jalo gore week 13 ya Botswana Premier League ene ya tsosoloswa me go tlosetsang ga yone gona le dithapa dingwe tse leng gore di ne da mabaleng hareng ga dithapa tseo ke sethapa sa Gaborone United. They went to the National Stadium. They were scheduled to play Holy Ghost. They did their pitch inspection, but they never put on their kit. Batsana mo lebaleng referee a rolla ball. None of that happened. Hale ka Kolobatsa Sport Complex so Stapasa systems rather. They were scheduled to play Stapasa Police 11. Bana ba ka Kolobatsa Stapasa systems ha ba ise ba apare le bona ga ba ise ba tsene mo lebaleng. Ka ko soa Stapasa so Flamingos were scheduled to play VTM. Lebala sa le lotetse, no one accessed the facility. So motsatsi la maabane ra bona go ta mokwalo o neng o tlhalosa jalo gore in accordance with FIFA regulations, all the clubs that failed to honor the no-show the fixtures of week 13 and 14 shall forfeit such games and shall be awarded 0 points and 0 goals. And that this shall be the last and final warning to such teams, failing which the prosecution will consider points deductions and or expulsion from the league. All the teams that attended the football matches on week 13 and 14 shall be awarded a walkover, that is a 2-0 victory. 3 points for every game they attended where there was no show by the opposition team. The BFL Secretariat is hereby immediately ordered to amend the league log to reflect this ruling. And then this was by the BFL Chief Prosecutor Charles McErick, sitting as one-man judge. So Sarah Stapasa Gaborone United ba hiwa jalo 6 points. 6 points o mongwe tswa mo the game e leng gore bana ba tshwanetse go tshameka against the traffic mo week 14 e leng gore by then the week 14 fixtures were not confirmed. So there are a lot of issues to this issue. Let's say bona motsila mabana gore kante me gone gore go ti team itselwa 3 points a yengwe ga ya tsona gore be ya peritsene mo lebaleng bolo e rodile. Did that happen? Where are the match sheets? Where are the match reports? Tse leng gore di tshwanetse gore nne tsone di re nya mme kana team e itile, and this is what happened. Se se ra gore Stapasa Gaborone United ba nelwa 6 points, Stapasa VTM 3 points, Stapasa Security Systems banelwa jalo 3 points. Ga ba gantsiwa jalo the reversed log standings tse leng gore yana go supa gore Botswana Premier League as things stand go tshamikilwe jalo 26 games di topa mo ga gare ga beke yana di tshamika game number 27. We are left with 3 games gore league hele mo 3 games e leng gore Johnny Galaxy they need tota bone ba setse ka 4 because they are playing this afternoon. They need 2 wins to be crowned the champions. After Diotsata Zilama Bani Dubuiwa. Joining Galaxy are at the top with 60 points. Gaborone United with their 6 points. They are on spot number 2 with 53 points. Township Rollers 52 points. Security Systems Mraga Penyama Bani Banale 41 points. Stapasa Flamingos 32 points. VTM Banale 32 points. Hela Jaka Stapasa Traffic Banale 32. Masitaoka 32. Orapa Enale 31. Twatano Nyoneto like BDF 11 after a draw at Zilama Bani BDF Enale 32. Orapa Nale 31. Matebele 28. Nico 26. 11 Angels 24. Stapasa Murupule Banale 22 points. Holy Ghost 21 points. Police 11 20 points. Still waiting for reactions from the clubs or stakeholders, should I say. But as for Botswana Football League office, they made it clear. As for now, no comment until the league comes to an end. Let's move on. TV Premiership Mamelodi Sundowns ba letsa ba fanya Stapasa Royal AM ka nnotse pedi go lefela Shalulile le Nkuba motshamekong o me ha re tswa mo go tse re bala jalo English Premier League motshameko le mongwe o eleng gore latedi ba Arsenal le ba letsa Tottenham Hotspur Motsila Maabane, but yay, Erling Haaland scored a brace go thusa Stapasa sa Manchester City go fanya Tottenham Hotspur ka notse pedi go lefela se se ra gore Manchester City ba go godimo ba na le 88 points. Arsenal on spot number 2 ba na le 86 points. Re bua ka tsone tse pedi tseo ke tsone tse di lela league. It goes to the last games of the weekend of the league rather, which will be Sunday. Man City will be home taking on Stapasa West Ham, while Arsenal will be facing Everton. Motsila Rumbego gona le metshameko e mebedi e tshamekiwang ile ya English Premier League. Garang ga metshameko e Stapasa Chelsea ba kopana jalo le Stapasa Brighton. Stapasa Manchester United, they are home at Old Trafford. They will be welcoming Stapasa Newcastle. Re lebella ka kwa Spain gore Spanish La Liga metshameko le tse tshameka mo Motsila Maabane go letse go tshamekilo ya re letse re bona Stapasa Osasuna le Mallorca di ka 1-1. Stapasa Real Madrid, the champions. Meletse ba bola Stapasa Alaves ba ba fenya jalo ka nnotse thano go lefela me ne re bana Stapasa Girona ba fengwa ke Stapasa Villarreal ka nno e lengwe go lefela. Motsila gompeko gona le metshameko e tshamekiwang gareng ga yona Rayo Vallecano e kopana le Stapasa Granada. Sevilla ena le Stapasa Cadiz me motshameko mongwe o teng ke Stapasa Celta Vigo bana le Athletic Club. Mebedi o metshameko e simolola ka 7:30 wa Celta Vigo le Athletic Club ha mmagole ke Tafala Atletico Madrid e simolla jalo ka 10 o'clock ke metshameko e mene e tshamekwa mo tsela gompeko ele ya Spanish La Liga. Gona le the final Coppa Italia mo tsela gompeko kwa le hore tabana Stapasa Atalanta kopana jalo le Juventus. I don't know why they play their finals midweek, but that is what is happening ka ko Italy ke long gore go tshamekwa jalo the finals of Coppa Italia. A re gare le ka go lebella jalo the NBA of so bana gore gone mme go ememe ka tselentse nyang ha le bella jalo the Eastern Conference semifinals ka halo gore ditsamaya ka terletse re bona Motsila Maabane Stapasa the Celtics ba fanya jalo Cavaliers 109-102 se se ra gore the Celtics in that series ba tsa jalo ke tapele ya 3-1. Stapasa Thunder ba letse ba fanya Stapasa Mavericks 100-96 se se ra gore that series is tied at 2-2. Currently there is a game ongoing haranga Stapasa Timberwolves ha le bella the Western Conference. Timberwolves ga mmogo jalo le Denver Nuggets. Mtshameko e leng gore it's on the third quarter with 2 minutes remaining and of course the whole of fourth quarter. Mr. Passat Denver Nuggets ba eteletse pele 78-70. O ka itse le gore as we speak that series is tied at 2-2. Mme mtshameko mongwe o tshamekilweng ne re bana Stapasa the Knicks, New York Knicks bana ba fanya Stapasa the Pacers 121-91. Se se ra gore the Knicks are leading that series 3-2. Ke tsone tsa le gore di a diragala jalo tsa NBA playoffs tare ka 1 o'clock e be re bana Stapasa 1 o'clock a.m. tomorrow. Cavaliers ba tsa jalo Stapasa the Celtics they have the chance to wrap up that series. Mr. Stapasa the Mavs ba tsa jalo Stapasa Thunder. We are sure of game 6 of that series jaaka di le gore they are tied at 2-2. Ke tsone tsa le gore di a diragala jalo tsa metshameko mono gae ga mmogo jalo le kontagala hatsela Botswana re kopeletsana kgante jana ha re taba re buisana jalo the chairperson of women football ke ba jalo ka Meki Mosenye re le kole di region ka go harologana gore di leke di tsamaile ka tselentseng yang ba ba wetsang this weekend go ememe and of course DTCB are we going to be having it back because from what I have heard ke gore it will be back and the challenges se le gore ba kopane le tsone e le bone ba women football bo mme ba babedi ke ba ntibile ke dumela le gore ha irialo ya mecha ile a re ga gone ha ke ibitsa jalo LB ga mmogo jalo le lala ba teba go lekelela jalo seemo sa pharakano.
Mokolodi was established in 1993 on a 4,000 hectare farm that was previously used as a communal grazing land. And after that, we fenced off the area and introduced wildlife in here. We have various species of animals. I can list a few. We have zebras, giraffe, obviously rhino, a couple of antelope like impala, gemsbok, hartebeest, and yeah, that's basically just to mention a few of. So here in Mokolodi Nature Reserve, we started our rhino breeding program in 1994. We started with 6 rhino that we acquired from KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa. So over the years, our rhino breeding program has been successful. We got 4 females and 2 males, and over the years, our breeding program has contributed successfully towards the repopulation of rhino species in Botswana. At some point, rhino were extinct in Botswana, so through the years, we have been able to breed 23 rhino on the soil of Mokolodi, and many of the rhino have been relocated to various parts of the country. So the reason that we have white rhino here at Mokolodi is because of the nature of our activities. We run an education center, and we also have cyclists and walking trails. So white rhino have a more tame nature, or they aren't as aggressive as black rhino. So we only have white rhino, we don't have black rhino. The difference between the two species is that the white rhino is a grazer and the black rhino is a browser. So also you can tell them apart in the size. The white rhino is the second largest land mammal, that's after the elephant, and the black rhino is slightly smaller. If you look at the way they, the positions which they hold themselves when they walk, a white rhino generally walks with its head down because it's a grazer, it eats grass. It has a wider mouth, and that's where it gets its name from. Whereas the black rhino has a hooked lip because it's a browser, it eats leaves. And also the way they are with the children. Normally the child or the calf of the white rhino runs in front of the mother, whereas for the black rhino it runs behind the mother. So basically those are the main differences. And the other important fact to note is that black rhino are critically endangered, whereas the white rhinos are near threatened. So from the rhinos that we saw earlier, the female is called Tsuku. She's been here in Mokolodi since 1994. She came here when she was 8 years old. And then she was with 2 other calves. One is a sub-adult, that's her grandchild. It's a child of her child. So most of the rhinos that we have here in Mokolodi are from Tsuku. And then the other one, the younger one, was her new calf, which is about 1.5 years old. On an annual basis, we obviously try to determine the carrying capacity of our game reserve. That helps us to determine the number of species that we can keep and what species we can keep. Sometimes as a farmer, you'll see that you have a lot of grass in the area and you think, oh no, everything is great. But that might not be the case, because you might have some unpalatable grass with very minimal nutritional value. That's why it's always important to carry out vegetation assessment in order to see the types of species of grass that you have and determine whether they are of good nutritional value. And that can also tell you the type of animals and the numbers that you can stock within your game reserve.
we keep the show going. A good morning to you if you're just joining us. We're getting into our first conversation of the morning, and puisano ya rona e itebagantse jalo le kutlo botlhoko e tseneletseng, otherwise known as trauma, and how trauma can be passed on intergenerationally. Re le ba malapa kamano a rona le bana ba rona ga mmogo le batsadi ba rona e khona go ithela ile gore re hitisa dio tse le gore le rona ne re sa sonogela go di hitisa re libile thata yone kutlo botlhoko ye. That is why I'm sitting across somebody who deals with this on a daily basis. Ubidu ahela gote Kingdom ke ba itse. He is a trauma counselor, and who understands trauma better than a trauma counselor? Good morning, Kingdom.
Morning, how are you?
Thank you so much for joining us. I'm well. Thank you for asking.
Thank you for having me.
Erra, trauma counseling, let's start there. How would you describe what you do?
Well, as a trauma counselor, really my job is to deal with traumatic situations. Anything that causes extreme emotional pressure. So, riti bakantsa thata le maikutlo a sa nnang sentle, le dikakanyo tse di sa nnang sentle. So my job really is to make sure that people heal in the area of emotions, le mo tlhaloganyong. That's my job in a nutshell.
So, highly gore, you are wondering what trauma is exactly and how trauma works. We will be discussing that with Kingdom this morning. Now we are talking about something called intergenerational trauma. We want to describe, explain, and talk about exactly what intergenerational. I want us to start with breaking down this word. Intergenerational, and then trauma, and then transmission. Right. Let's start with intergenerational. How would you explain to somebody how intergenerational?
Well, I think it's just basically passing down trauma from a certain generation to the next.
Right.
A society, a family, a community, they have traumas. It's a generation, and they pass it to another generation. So that's the way the intergenerational comes in. Right.
Give me an example of intergenerational trauma, especially within a family structure. How do you know that this is how do you know that it's intergenerational? How is it not just a trauma? Kind of break that down.
You have to see the pattern within the family.
Right.
Okay? As a child, maybe there's gender-based violence, as an example.
Right.
And maybe you see it on uncles and others. And ask questions. In that gender-based violence.
Right.
You understand?
Maybe my grandmother experienced it, and then my mother, and now me.
So look for the pattern within the immediate family, and then ask questions, go back a little bit. You're going to find that further down in the family tree, others experience that gender-based violence. Then you start to see that it's indeed intergenerational.
And then when we think about trauma and how it affects the relationships between batsadi le bana, how does intergenerational trauma then end up affecting the family structure?
Well, it's a very important question because trauma affects, let's say, a mother, for example.
Right.
It can affect even how she expresses affection to a child. A mother can go through trauma, let's say, before they give birth.
Right.
And these traumatic experiences, they carry them around with them. Even through pregnancy, they're still carrying them. They might have trouble connecting with that child and showing love to that child. And that child is going to sense that detachment. You know, I've been in a number of counseling sessions where I meet young people who say, you know what, I've never really been close to my mother. And it doesn't make sense, you know, because ideally, that's the first person you are supposed to be. So it's because of trauma.
Right.
On the extreme, I met a young lady, she came for counseling. She was telling me that and this was coming from a place of trauma.
Right.
This deep thing she went through. And when she looked at the child was just a source of pain.
Right.
So nana amalat. So the trauma can affect the relationship between a mother and a child, such that there isn't enough love because of whatever the traumatic experience might have been.
Now, re bona jang mo ngwaneng specifically gore maybe they are dealing with a trauma that is being passed on. What are some behavioral kind of maitshwaro a ileng gore gongwe o le morutabana, o le mogolo e ngwana, o le someone outside of the family structure, o ka di lemoga gore hey, this might be a problem?
You know, I was giving gender-based violence as an example. From that setup, they might have anger issues, short-tempered, easily angered. And guess what? They might start to bully others as well. So those are the
little things.
The little things. But if it's not if it's other forms, there might be that hopelessness, that extreme fear, extreme anxiety. One of the extreme size suicidal tendencies. If a child wants to kill themselves, it's connected to a trauma. They're going through something deeper than we're seeing.
Than what we're seeing.
Yes.
Very, very interesting. But then there's also something called unresolved trauma.
Yes.
And I think you touched a little bit on it.
Yes.
Can you help us define unresolved trauma?
Yes.
How do you define it, and how is it different, or how does it relate with that intergenerational trauma?
You see, unresolved trauma is pain that is not processed. You've gone through it, but you've never really faced it.
Right.
Because you must understand, as a trauma counselor, when we sit down with you, we help you to open up the wounds, but we help you to also to process the pain. How? You forgive. That's one of the ways.
Right.
And after you forgive, we take you through another process of deep inner healing. So when you have not processed the pain, you live in a state where that trauma controls your whole being.
Right.
Your behavior.
Physically.
Your response. Your worldview. You understand? How you see the world. It's based on that pain. There are people who live life as if they are that pain because they have never processed that pain.
Right.
You understand?
Yes.
Yes. Because in the moment of trauma, this is what happens. The soul shatters. The soul, I'm talking about your mind. I'm talking about your will. I'm talking about your emotions. It breaks like a glass. So with time, the soul is going to try to heal, and it does try to heal. It gathers itself, it comes back to a place of healing. But because of extreme pain, sometimes part of it, it stays in another dimension.
Right.
You understand? So when a part of you is in another dimension, it means you're moving around and you're not whole. So sometimes people who are traumatized, you're arguing with me, remote control. In a moment, the way we're fighting for a remote control, I react as if I want to kill you. You understand?
Because I've gone back to?
Now, in that moment, know that you're not arguing with the core kingdom.
Right.
You're arguing with a little boy who was raped, and he never processed that pain.
Right.
And that fragment is now shouting at you, and it wants to kill you for a remote control. I don't know if you're following me.
I completely understand that, which would explain a lot of what we see in our society, from GBV to the rape statistics to other things that, you know, they define our community as very violent.
Oh, yes.
Because a lot of people are living with trauma that is unresolved.
Oh, yes.
See, I'm getting you. Something else that I wonder is, then what do we do? It feels like something that's big.
Yeah.
Can we say motho o processitse trauma ya gago, kana motho o processitse kutlobotlhoko ya gago hela ha re bona a setsa ile counseling?
Well, on your own, the basic that you can do is start to forgive.
Right.
Think about people that have violated you, that you need to forgive. You can start there, you know. But on a deeper level, yes, because of the soul fragments that I'm talking about, you'll need to sit down with a counselor or a therapist to gather back those pieces of your soul that are shattered, so that you can be whole again. You understand?
Right.
But on your own, on the elementary, start with forgiving. It will just lift off a load. It starts there. Forgiving is a big deal. You understand? Even Jesus had to die for forgiveness. That's how big a deal it is.
Right.
You understand?
Very interesting. Forgiveness is a big part of processing your trauma. Kingdom, he is a trauma counselor, and we are talking about the curse of intergenerational trauma. As an individual, you haven't dealt with it, and now your children are experiencing it. Your family members are experiencing it because of that unresolved trauma. Now, there needs to be a conversation about the role of culture and context. Haribua trauma counseling, trauma or dealing with your trauma, resolving your trauma. Really, mo Botswana, okare culturally, what context, what environment are we giving people's trauma and the process of healing trauma?
I think I want to talk about culture from a context of the limitations that come as a result of culture.
Right.
You understand? Because if maybe we are living in a society where this thing, let's say
exactly.
For example, if we're living in a society where women are still so oppressed in so many ways, and men are on the upper, you understand? If we're living in a society where men are not allowed to cry, to say, what kind of man are you? You shouldn't cry. Then we have barriers to healing because as a man, you're not supposed to cry and that kind of thing. And you're going to realize even the way we're bringing up children as a society, the girl child has so much support emotionally. There's so much, even organizations that are advocating for the girl
women
child.
And girls, yes.
But the boy child is a little bit left behind. Then what kind of men are we raising?
Right.
So we have to be careful about that, to say, listen, there's more work to be done on the boys.
Right.
So that we don't raise women who are leaders and they're ready emotionally, they are in the right place. But the men, it is no wonder the men are so ruthless and violent. It's because we haven't developed enough structures to make sure that emotionally they're there.
I find this conversation very, very important, and I wonder, as we wrap up the conversation, what advice are we giving Botswana as a nation from a trauma counseling perspective? Deal with your trauma, deal with the pain, face the difficult thing that might be holding you back in life.
I would advise, first of all, the parents to go for trauma counseling so that it's not passed to the next generation, so that we break the evil flow. We break the evil cycle. And as we break the evil cycle, I want to advise parents to say, listen, there's a king and there's a fool in every child. After you heal from your trauma, speak to the king in your child. Because I think while we're hurting and we're still going through our trauma, we speak to a fool in a child. We say the wrong things. We violate them with words. We oppress them with words. But I promise you, when you heal from trauma, you'll have the ability to now speak life into a child.
Amen. Speak life into your children. Deal with your trauma. See a trauma counselor. And the big word for this morning, forgiveness. Forgive the people who hurt you. Let yourself walk through the pains that you've been through in your mind and forgive. Release the people so that you can create a wonderful home environment for your family members, for your children. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Kingdom.
Pleasure.
I've thoroughly loved learning from you. We can't wait to have you back one day to talk more about the issue of trauma. And you, whatever you're doing this morning, I hope that this conversation has been helpful. Reginald Richardson, it is your 7 a.m. news bulletin, and it is coming to you in Setswana. I hope you enjoy.
Ke ke tlhalosa jalo gore tare ha re boa be re bella jalo tsa kgwele ya dinao ya bomme o ka itsela gore di-region ka bontsinyana di setse di heditse jalo di liki tsa tsone re setse re itse gore ke bomang ba e leng gore they are the regional champions mme ha ke go gakolla jalo o ka itsela gore ka ko Francistown ke Tutume Soccer Angels Misilibe Phikwe ke Granada Wanderers Gaborone ke Stapa sa Gaborone United gantsi ke Stapa sa gantsi Farmers United tsa bone ke Magap City mme itsela gore ka ko Central South ke Mafia Visions Botete region ke Stapa sa Tawana Top Girls ha khatleng ile Royal Fighters ka ko tsopong ke Morupule Kweneng we are still waiting to see where go tata bomang mme ka ko the Sofa region le bona re santse remi go bona gore go ta bomang ka ko Chobe Central North ha mmogo jalo leng habe tse dingwe o ka itsela gore didiki tsa bone di tabukhutong this weekend ba bangwe ba santse ba setse ka metshameko nyana ile mmalwa mme go ta go lebella jalo ka ha leng gore re ka re liki tsa teng di tsamaile ka teng ke tsa sebaka se ke re se be ka amagela jalo the chairperson wa women's football ke ba jalo ka Mmeke Mosinyi me Mosinyi madumeng kgonne
Dumela Miss K
le teng
re teng
go nga re simolole ka go lebella jalo di region tsa lona ka ha eleng gore di tsamaile ka teng liki le ha gongwe go ise go hele hedi dingwe di santse di tahetsa the weekend ya bangwe ba santse ba setse ka metshameko ile mmalo gore le ka re go tsamaile ka tselentseng jang
tota hela ga go bad mathata rona hela a mangwe hela re simolola women's football re simolola league very late and go tsone di kgekengwa di kgotse re kopane le tsone from other regions mme hela gone re ntse ra improve
maitso a sengwe se leng gore ke se tse thoko mme Mosinyi ke gore ha o lebella jalo metshameko ya lona beke le beke ha nke go thoka go nna le metshameko e leng gore ga ya tshamekiwa di postponement tsa teng di nna dintsi kana team engwe ga ya ta go nna gona le metshameko e leng gore ga nke le nna le beke ka reng nya di region tsotlhe metshameko yo theisimolotse kgotho kgolo keng
kgotho e tona e leng gore gantsi ha re ntse re ba botsa ko di regioneng gore bothata keng bothata e nna gore one di team kana tsa rona di tshameka phakela sometimes the referees are not available mo maphakeleng ha gongwe di player bontsi ba tsone ke bana ba dikolo and on Saturdays bana ba ile dikolong kgwetho e nngwe e leng gore re itemogetse ke the issues of finance go di teaming tsa rona o ta ithela le gore team e ne tshwantse go tswa matshumo e ya o rapa ke ha example e tshwantse go tswa matshumo ya o rapa e pega di player and e be ba re ga ba ne ba sena madi a ka pegang di player
mo gane in situations like that motho a ka ipotsa gore re ba thusa ka tsele ntseng jang kana lona le ba eteletseng pele kgole a dinao ya bomme le ikalla gore di khantse re di lwantshe ka tsele ntseng jang me Mosinyi
hai di khantse di dingalo tota ke issue e santseng le mo tafoleng mo officing ya rona gore re bone gore re ka thusa di team jang because tota hela I'm very sorry to say this Miss K ha o ta go gore na o ra re ke na le team ke tota re nna le sologelo a gore go gongwenyana o ta le ka go pusha because o simolla mo leking e le gore ga ena sponsor all the teams di tsene di tsore we don't have sponsors and the money that we give them ha ba simolla di league 3.5 ga ka a rana league that's the only thing that we can give them because ga rena di sponsor
ebile re bua jalo ka tsone di kgotho tse leng gore di teng a re belle di region tse leng gore literally ne ile la ntha ba nna le kgwele ya dinao ya bomme di league ya le gore le ka re di dirile ka tselentseng ja mo seasoneng ya bone ya ntha hang ka rialo
di region tse leng gore di simolla league gompieno di tharo and di tsamaile sente hela thata ga go nna le dikgwetho di league tsa bone tsamaile sente ga gona nako e re kileng ra amogela any reports ya gore ga ba tshameka because team e nngwe nile le mathata jalo di region tsotlhe ka boraro kana ke tswapong le gantsi le tsabo di tshamekile hela sente
despite these challenges tse leng gore le kopana le tsone here and there they are positives a ke tsore ke ntse le ka se lebellang a bo le re le ha re ise re wetse re santse re tana le DTCB e be le re gone mme these are the positives tse le gore re di phikile mo seasoneng tse
leng gore re di phikile mo seasoneng ke gore ya ka o itse go na ga nna le koketsego ya madi a go reka di-player and di-team ga di a reka di-player ka bontsi so go raya gore di-team di nnile le development so ke nngwe ya dio tse re di itemogetseng gore ga go ka ga nna le movement o montsintsi wa di-player so go raya gore go nna le consistency
mme o ka itse le gore ne re bona jalo bone ba lekgotla la Botswana Football Association ba ntsha jalo the confirmation of venues of the blocks to host the DTCB block tournaments. O ka itse le gore the Western Block ba tlhalosa gore e tla tshamekiwa jalo ka di 25 di 26 tsa ga May 2024 mme re ta bona jalo the Northern Block e tshameka ka weekend ya di 1 and 2 tsa ga June 2024. Eastern Block e tla tshameka weekend ya di 8 and 9 tsa ga June 2024 ha the Southern Block ya go tshameka di 21 to di 22 tsa ga June 2024. Semifinals ba tlhalosa gore di tla tshamekiwa jalo ka weekend tota semifinals and final di tla nna jalo ka weekend ya di 6 to di 7 tsa 2024 tsa ga July ke dumela jalo gore di tla di le mo tropa kgolo ga brane mme se mo se leng gore sa kgatisa ke gone gore this time around we are seeing something se leng gore se sesha issues of safeguarding se leng gore last season go ene seo me mosinyi ke bona ile gore ba beile in bold bana ba BFA gore the safeguarding address will be conducted the same day at 6 in all blocks. Let's talk about the importance of safeguarding segolo bogolo ko kgoleng ya dinao ya bomme.
Ke se ke tsene mo go yo mme yone last season ne ile teng gore hela gore re ne ra ska ra bua ka yone thata in all the blocks before the games bana ba ne ba addressiwa mme ga le ntsana le rona a ba address even nako they were addressed ho gone ebile ne le all the teams go di blokong ne re tsa di team one by one but mo gaborone ka final re ne re tsere team hela tsotlhe re di addressa ko UB issues of safeguarding di botlhokwa hela thata kana mathata a rona ke gore bana o ta ithela ile gore dilo ka bontsi di a diragala but ga ba itse gore ba ka dira yang gore ba report tota iseng bana hela ke re hela ke re the vulnerable people le ha ile nna if I'm abused ha ke sa itse gore tota tsela ke tshwantse gore ke tseye ke hela ke shushu ba la hela bana like gompieno go na le go mo go ting grooming go mo footballong kana mo sportsing o ta ithela ba sa itse gore a mme motho wa ba dira phoso gore coach simola kana motho ala simola go takisa ka madi a ra gore at the end of the day a ba go abuse so ta ithela le gore ke dio tse e leng gore bana ga ba di itse ba golo ga ba di itse mme go botlhokwa thata hela gore ba nne ba rutiwe le rona re rutiwe gore ha eta go go nna ke handle ka tseleng senjang
a re le diliki tse dingwe tse di santseng di seletse ko moragonyana SOFA is one of those regions ba leng gore ba ya go hetsa jalo ka June likely for them how le bile di TCB ya go tshamekwa ka weekend ya 22 go go bone bana ba tlhalosa ba go hetsa the beginning of June gore the inconveniences tse di nnang teng gore the unfortunate part ya gore league tsa lona ga di hele nako e one memsi
the unfortunate part ke gore di team tsa rona mo especially tse di under di team tsa bomme di nna ka ha musing re register di team tsa di players tsa bo repele then tsa bomme e be re di ha nakonyana ye rileng ko morago so o ithelele gore window ya December e tsenang ha ngwaga o hela di players tsa bomme di a bo di sa registeriwa most of the players ba registeriwa ka February ka January e be gore ke gone di league tsa rona di simolla so I would just plead with the teams gore tswentswe ba registere bana ka nako
hane mehala boko ha nke lo kopanela le ditlhopha le bua di issues tse hela gore ba getso a re lekeng gore re nne re he hosa dina go avoida khanyelo gore ba bangwe ba go ikhutsa le baka le lelele go emela di TCB ba bangwe ba go simolla ile gore ba tshameka ha ba nne le rest yeo you know it somehow compromises competition
ke gopola gore ha season e simologa last year ke buile thata ke kopa bo chairman gore a re diriseng gore by May e be re heditse di league so that bana ba khona go na ya go preparela the tournament but unfortunately ga go aka ga diragala mme re tana re leka ka gore tse dingwe di dirile jalo ba lekile ba like Frafa ga e bolo go hetsa league mme Frafakana ena le 13 teams mme ga e bole go hetsa league so re tanna re kgothatsana hela gore le dikgwetho kana ga go ntse le go dira gore re kgone go itse gore tota kgwetho ya region ke eng
ebile re bua ka tsone dikgwetho motho ha le bile lona le ntse hatshe a le itumella gore kgola dino ya mme gola ka teng mme Mosenye be re lebela di issue tse di go tse leng gore gongwe motho a ka ile ba re tse small issue timita ba pere go tshwana ba tshwanetse gore ba tshemeke ka di bebe situations tse kopana le tsone kgantele o ithela le gore team e nngwe mo benching go rile thi ke tsile ka family ya me yote ke beile mo benching bo referee ba nkopa gore mme ha le go kotseng mo benching inna manganga we cover women football. These are some of the things tse leng gore re kopana le tsone. How do you solve such issues?
Tata di issues tsa teng bodingalo bo kete ba tsone nna gore our leadership go di regioning ke halele ha ba attendang di game tsa women's football and if ba ka re thusa to attend these games gore ba khone go re thusa dikgantse go ka nna motho because ba dira jalo ba itse gore ga gona opo yo ka ba khalemelang and gore referee ha re akanya go call off the game a ba buisa ngwana a tswa ko bobonong a ile go phiko a ile go tshameka wa akanya kana ditshimetse ga dina sponsor di a ipega ha o call off game ya go nna yalo tota a ga se poela morago
a le bela kgantsa di resource gore go ne go ntse ka tseleng availability ya mabala segolo bogolo di region tse di kgakala tsele gore go tshamekela ko le roleng go dirisiwa dikolo gore you know gone in the aspect ya resources how well did you guys do
ko di kgaolo ibile gone mona to teng gore ga re nke re nna le problem ya mabala ya gore team ne tshwantse go tshameka le bala is not available. Unfortunately mo ga borone ke gone mo eleng gore ka gore they use league gona le di events tse dintsi ke bona ba taitelang go nna le di postponement but go di kgaolong tota ga re se re nne le dikgwetho tse dintsi tse di kalokalo.
How are the preparations going tsa DTCB blocks ya ka go tabo go simolla a weekend after next?
Di tsweletse and di blocko di setse di simolotse go kopana and blocko ba Western imagine ke la ntaba nna le yone ba setse ba kopana ba setse ba re ha dinyekane nka go bolelela gore central eastern block maabane bosigo ne re le mo meeting le bone ba supe gore ba simolotse di preparations tsa bone
gompe go teng se different go DTCB in you know not only the prize money first team eta bongana ba ile gore ba tabo in another champions ba tsa 250,000 second place 150,000 third place 100,000 may the fourth runner up was 50,000 what can we expect is different besides the issue tsa madi me Mosenye ha re bile the DTCB tournament?
Besides the tota ga gona sepe se different se se kalokalo rona hela se stengela ke gore re tse the evaluation report ya last year e be re lebella gore re improve ha kae tota ga difference ga ena go nna kalokalo
gongwe ha re setsano re garela puisano ya rona ka re gakola di region tse le gore di santse di seletse ha maragonyana ka metshameko gore ke di ke itse kweneng Sofia ka nne re bua gore le bone ba santse ba seletse ka morago fela go tsa yet to crown the champions.
Re na leng Habe ko Northern Block re na leng Habe le Chobe ke tsone tse santse di seletse ko morago mo Eastern Block we have Central North ke ne santse saletse ko morago mme yone e hetsa ka di 25 Habe yone ya hetsa this coming weekend Chobe e hetsa ka di 25 mo Southern Block re santse re saletse ko morago ka Sofa e hetsa ka di 8 tsa June le Kweneng e hetsa ka di 20 Kweneng ya hetsa this coming weekend
go gone go reta bo re itse gore gone mmesentente re ka re go tsamele ya mago go a bohelong khonna ya jalo ko ba ileng gore they were with you guys through thick and thin throughout this season.
Nka kopa hela gore tota batho ba tswelle ka gore supporta because women's football hai ga ke ka re ntshwa e kgologolo mme hela re santse re na le lethoko le lentsi re santse re thoka bomme go di teaming tsa rona ke kopa gore borre ba recruite bomme ba bantsi monate wa teng hela ke gore malatsing ya rena le di-course tsa women specific and ga re ke ra tsa bomme mo strateng re batla go tsa bomme ko di-teaming so di-team a di nne le bomme le ska nna bomme hela e nne gore ba nna active ba thusa mo di-teaming ga go te course ya coaching e be re tswe re tsa mme o e leng gore always wa bana le bana
right me mosenye ke le bogetse nako ya go nkgonne re tanna ntse re le bitsa re tlo go bua jalo ka ha ile gore DTCB go diblokong tse dingwe go taba go tsamaile ka teng le gore gone mme hela preparations towards the finals di tsamayang ke le bogetse nako ya go thola sente.
Thank you Miss K.
Right ke ne ke buisana jalo le the chairperson of women football ke bua jalo ka Meki Mosenye re ne re tlo go lekola jalo ka ha ile gore motho ha ka re di le ke tsa bone di tsamaile ka teng mo seasoneng eo ka itsalo gore etare ka weekend ya di 25 ebe go simolla jalo DTCB tournament ka go di block gore tana ntse re go ba mo dinako go gore go diragala eng kwa mabaleng a here of course the fixtures go di tabo di eme ka tselentse jang a mo tsetela la boraro re khagana ka tselentse jalo re ka pana khante jana mo thulaganyeng ya tshamekang ha sta pasa Holy Ghost ba taba ba amogela jalo Township Plus at 6 o'clock it will be the build up but as for Dumela Botswana Breakfast Show meet tomorrow until then.
Wheelbarrow is situated just a stone throw from Game City, going down south. A1 farms. The wheelbarrow was established in 2015. It has accommodation. Nearly room 6 executive rooms, standard. The wheelbarrow in a conference facility may accommodate up to 60 people. An outdoor conferencing setup. That is, you can actually come to the wheelbarrow. Your conferencing out in the open. The wheelbarrow in a nursery. The nursery in both indigenous and exotic plants. The wheelbarrow again in a restaurant, a very nicely done restaurant. You offer you just pick from the menu and you'll certainly not go wrong. If you have been observing around, you realize those swings are meant to enhance accommodation. Kana you'll always wonder so there are swings which are meant to cater for bana ba banyenyane ba le gore ba family.
So by the wheelbarrow, mostly we based on the cyclines. The cyclines are the plants whereby they don't need a lot of water. Mostly they are good, especially this weather, Botswana weather. So we deal mostly about them, those indigenous plants. And we sell trees, the indigenous ones also, which suits the conditions of the climate of Botswana. We sell also like aram lily. Aram lily needs a lot of water and it needs to be planted on the same shade. We got like Juranta. Juranta we propagate ourselves straight from scratch. And most of them like Kana it multiplies. And it's flowering, it's an all-season plant. So those plants which I'm talking about, they are good.
Re la amogela gape mo thulaganyong ya rena DUMELA BOTSWANA, the breakfast show on a beautiful Wednesday morning. And as you know, every Wednesday we make sure that it's a wellness Wednesday, bringing you information about how to keep your life well and healthy. And today joining me, I have Mayor Malebogo Thero. We're going to talk about the barriers of a pre-ep uptake. Pre-ep in PDCA Tusang. You know, HIV and AIDS, but you know better, all right? I lost my train of thought for a second. How are you doing?
I'm fine, thanks. How are you?
Thank you so much for joining me.
Welcome back.
It's a lot to step you're just like, okay, but PrEP, which is pre-exposure prophylaxis, right? PDC HIV and AIDS. But let's get into a short introduction and how you got into the expertise of HIV prevention.
Okay. Thank you so much, Lala. You've already introduced me. My name is Malebogo Thero. It's from an organization called BUMI. We are a technical advisory organization to Ministry of Health on issues like HIV/AIDS management. And I am from a department, Prevention and KP programs. And under this portfolio, Retail pre-exposure prophylaxis. We have the DREAMS program, Renali GBV management, and lastly, the key populations program. Nahela, by way of background, I'm a nurse by profession, but I'm currently under the programming part of my nursing.
Okay, I like the fact that you're going to come also from like a nursing point of view when we're talking about even behaviors of people. You know, taking new things such as a drug that is supposed to help us, but and I think that's what we're trying to break today. Let's talk about groundbreaking. Like PrEP was just the groundbreaking drug. HIV and AIDS, and this is newly introduced, right? Not newly, so somewhat new. So let's actually talk about it. How is it a great tool in the prevention of HIV and AIDS?
Emma, when you look at HIV/AIDS in this country, you would realize that from the starters, we started off with HIV treatment, whereby we were mainly concerned about those individuals who had tested HIV positive. Yes. And then along the way, as research advanced, the researchers did realize that there's a gap in terms of management of HIV. There's an opportunity in preventing acquisition of HIV, and interventions like PrEP, which is short for pre-exposure prophylaxis, came about. And WHO made its recommendations to say we could use ARVs as prevention. We know that ARVs are mainly used for treatment or HIV, but we can also use it as a prevention modality, hence how the PrEP came about. Yes. And when you look at PrEP, we are targeting the HIV negative individuals. Currently, by BOTSWANA guidelines, should be 18 years plus. And most importantly, the person should be willing. Remember, this person is not sick, so there has to be that willingness to take up daily medication.
I love the word that you're using, willingness, right? HIV and AIDS. It's somewhat still a taboo. Are people actually utilizing? What are some of the things that you see in the change of use when it comes to the PrEP pill?
Well, when it comes to PrEP use, I would say BOTSWANA ba idirisa ga ba idirisi. You'd realize that PrEP is offered for free in public health facilities or eating for free more non-governmental organizations, the Ministry of Health. But you'd realize that not all people know that there is PrEP in public health facilities, that there is PrEP elsewhere. Not all people know. For those who know, you'd have those that would just drop in and say, I would like to have PrEP. And these are individuals by normally in that encounter with healthcare workers, you wouldn't necessarily, as a healthcare worker, pick a specific risk that puts them at an increased chance of HIV acquisition. However, as per guidelines, you are not supposed to return that person without PrEP because possibly they are not yet ready to say what exactly is happening in Jaboni. And then you'd encounter those bilingual as a healthcare worker from your you'd realize that this person is at substantial risk for HIV acquisition and you offer the service to them. Me, hona le ba eleng gore ba go dumela a khona go bona gore ha ke ka tswa ke le mo diphatseng ba bangwe even though o ba ka etsa diphatsa tsa gore ba ka tswa ba le mo go tsone, they are still not willing to take up PrEP. Hence why I said yes and no. Batswana ba dirisa PrEP, ba bangwe ga ba dirise PrEP. However, the risk e khone go supiwa to say from our discussions, this is what we are seeing. But to close this challenge, at this time, we would like to offer you this service. And then, as an individual, yes, please, can I get
what are some of the reasons that people have given? I think it's just something that is helpful. Like you say, how about it's something that's helpful. But what are some of the reasons PrEP drug?
Yeah, we do encounter some clients by Longhorabone would just say especially where service ga ya tshwana go impose mo mothong re na le mo go no means no. Remember earlier, I highlighted the fact that an individual has to be willing to take PrEP. So, the headline there, as I say that specific reason as to why they wouldn't want to take PrEP, what you do as a healthcare provider, barrier counseling, just so you appreciate what exactly could be happening to this client. Why are they not accessing the service even though they are at substantial risk and the service is free? And then we also do a risk reduction counseling to say we have identified risk 1, 2, 3 to try and avert those. This is what we can do at the moment. Yes.
All right, so we're hoping to turn the no's into yeses, right?
Yes.
How does the PrEP? Do you think there's some psychological, societal barriers that would the PrEP pill?
Indeed, they are. You'd realize when it comes to our community, traditionally we used to offer PrEP from IDCCs or where mainly our HIV positive clients go. The main reason why PrEP is offered from that place is because people who have been capacitated to work with anything ARVs, it's not every healthcare worker who has been capacitated to offer anything ARVs. So, when PrEP came in, we already had people by Longhore can offer PrEP baliko IDCC. People being people, we have always associated IDCCs or the infectious disease and now we are bringing in by Longhore are HIV negative to go and access PrEP. And you'd realize that when this client comes in, you don't say, you don't do that. So once you get there as an HIV positive, as an HIV negative individual, people will automatically believe you are part of the HIV positives. So there is that stigma related to accessing PrEP from IDCC.
That's not the reality.
That's not the reality. Sometimes there is a client or has been referred over to IDCC because we said BP. But you can't just say, get client BP. Yes. To us, a client is a client regardless of what condition they're coming with.
Yes. I think mindset change is something that's coming into play when we're talking about this.
Yes.
All right. I'm going to play devil's advocate here. Side effects. You know what? it can hurt my body as much as it can help my body. Are there certain side effects to the PrEP pill?
Yes. So the PrEP pill, Ryan, and anything and everything that goes through the mouth, it has a way of maybe bringing about ditlamorago, side effects. Every pill, that bit of reaction to it. And PrEP is no exception to that. You'd realize that the side effects, the manufacturer has said, a person who takes this particular pill or medication is likely to experience
that side effect.
There's a likelihood that you'd experience diarrhea, vomiting, headaches, nausea. And what we normally do is that we educate our clients about this to say there's a possibility that you'd experience this.
But don't
However,
be afraid. Yes.
not everyone will experience that.
All right.
Yes. And then the other thing, we highlight on the duration of the side effects to say they may go on for a week or less. It may be more for other people. Yes, even the severity differs from individual to another. There are those who would experience side effects but wholly minor. And then those that would experience them. So now the party message would be, you as an individual, we are not guiding is this minor? Can I do with or I can't do with? And then if you can't do with, make sure you go back to your facility. You can either come here, go to something, or access service.
Find a different way that you can manage this. Before we part ways, I don't think we have much time left. We've talked about the pill, right? And I want now to talk about the positivity. Let's turn that no or that maybe into a yes. What do you stand to gain as you embark on this journey of maybe taking PrEP, especially if you are one of those people that are likely to find yourself getting HIV and AIDS?
Yes. So what I can say to Botswana, we have a life-saving pill in the form of PrEP. Once it's being offered to you, it means healthcare providers have actually identified a risk you may be having as an individual. So now what remains is for you as an individual to decide what are the benefits, what are the disadvantages of taking up PrEP. We know that risk might at some point make you to achieve or to acquire HIV. So the idea is for you to say, what do I stand to benefit from taking up PrEP? And as an individual, one
of the main problems I need to start managing it, but here we're talking about preventing it.
Yes. I think it's always best to put oneself first before what people would think or say about you, because at the end of the day, it's your life, and we have the service that can obviously assist you going forward so that you don't acquire HIV. I think it's easier to take PrEP than take ARVs as treatment.
Okay. Yes. That is actually a very powerful statement. It is it's easier to take PrEP than to take the ARVs.
And
so
remember,
if you are at a stage where you can get it, do it.
Yes. And remember, PrEP is not lifelong like ARVs. With PrEP, you only take PrEP where you feel you are at risk of HIV acquisition.
Okay.
However, with ARVs, that's where now we expect you to take it lifelong.
All right.
Yes. So with PrEP, you can cycle in when you are at risk, cycle off when you are off risk.
Methero, how do we reach you if we want to talk to you, or where are your office? More about the PrEP pill.
Bumi offices currently I'm based at Masa Building. My email address or number, whichever one you prefer.
You can say both.
Okay. My email number is tmalebogo@bumi.org and my cell phone number 7227-2889. We don't work alone. We are a partner to Minister of Health. We have a team that we are working with at Minister of Health, which is the ARV department, which houses PrEP. Renalebo Regeribo Lebanzwekako Lebo Pelongogile.
Ke bana ba ka re thusang ha ile gore ha o khone go tshwara malebogo bo itsoring ya mmehela Ministry of Health, wherever there is a doctor, wherever there is a hospital, just go and ask, and you know.
Facility.
All right, thank you so much malebogo for joining me today. Ke tsela hore re setse re ithutile quite a bit about taking pills and what not to think and what to think. All right. That is the conversation that we're having today on this Wellness Wednesday. We're talking about the barriers of the PrEP pill. I think what we can take away from this is let's be proactive instead of reactive. O seka kanya gore batho ba tla reng o bo ikakanya hela gore a mme botsogo ba me bo tla pele kana jang. That's the conversation we had with Mema Lebogotero, and a very thank you to her. E tla re ke tsogana ke go tsa LB re tla re laela.
And on that note, thank you so much for waking up with us this morning. It's been a wonderful morning, specifically around the areas of health, because it is a Wellness Wednesday. And some of the reasons why people are not taking the medication or the pre-exposure prophylaxis medication. Lala, your takeaways from your conversation?
My takeaway is we really have this thing we you want to live a long and happy life, you know, and you have to make that happen. So don't stop wondering about what people are doing in their lives. Do it for you, and that's all I can take. Just find out from your nearest hospital clinic more about the PrEP pill and how you can help yourself. But you know what, Albi? I think I feel heavier. I need to like get it out of me. Earlier on, traffic update, and we saw a smash and grab happening live there. So as we're about our days and we're driving around this city of Gaborone, make sure that you take extra precautions on the road. Make sure you are aware of your surroundings, and this shouldn't happen to anybody, honestly.
Amen. Thank you so much for that advice. And I think both your pieces of advice are so important. The one year PrEP specifically, because we are getting reports from NAPA, from all these different organizations about the rise in number of HIV infections that are happening specifically around banana babasitana. And I think in a time where young people seem to be a little bit lax when it comes to the fight against HIV,
we need to bring it back.
It is important for us to take measures such as PrEP to safeguard ourselves from the transmission of HIV/AIDS. And if you are looking for something transformative, after our conversation with Kingdom Kibayizi, speaking specifically about trauma and how to stop the transmission of intergenerational trauma, my word for you is forgiveness, forgiveness, forgiveness.
Ooh, big word.
Walk through forgiveness. Go through it mentally by yourself. Go and see a trauma counselor or a therapist or a psychologist and work through the traumas that have plagued you from childhood. In an environment that's healthy. You know what I mean?
Next thing you find that somebody has done something they can't take back.
Exactly. And if you want to catch Kingdom, his organization is putting together an event this weekend, the Alchemy of Transformation Seminar. They are talking all things mindset shift. There will be speakers, including including life and marriage coaches, an etiquette specialist, as well as a social and constructive empowerment expert. So if you are interested, this weekend, Saturday the 18th of May, 8:30 a.m. Ko Phalape. This is a conversation that you can be a part of out in Phalape. I hope that you join them or you find Kingdom online and see more the transformation of alchemy. Anyway, it is that from us. Thank you so much to Karabo BOTSWANA for giving us the sports update today, as well as everybody who has participated from Mapodisi all the way to the production team. It's been a wonderful morning. Good morning.
A very good morning to you.